Mars thing, and everything else, just, you know, the whole underworld gatekeeper thing, and just the layers that, you know, just are in the unseen world, that are in the mixing bowl before things manifest. And I definitely was being prepared, and I, you know, if things got real tough, instead of becoming a victim, I just said, oh, it's just another day at the office. I signed up for this. It's okay. This is the work. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we are amazing beings, and the thing is, you know, I don't like to compare the reptilians to the ego nature, but the thing is, it's like the demonicness that it, you know, the reason it's so demonic and the reason certain beings are targeted is, you know, based on things connected to ego, and there's healthy ego aligned to divine will, and then there's the kind that is power hungry, wanting to control, wanting power, or the inversion of that, which is drug addiction, losing oneself. And so everybody who's either in the wanting control or in the negation of self attracts these entities. And so the reason why it has such a hold on us, and the reason why they have such sophisticated plans, is similar to how some of us, not, you know, maybe in our circle, but some people in the world feel about their ego. It's the hardest thing for them to let go of. No matter how much sometimes they try, it's so hard to let go of that need to feel important, to have status, to have wealth, to have fame. And so these entities and those that are targeted, or that, you know, end up being possessed by them, and because they're hybrids and they've been sort of, you know, I mean, they're manipulated so that they can carry that energy, so that the reptilians can have human form, is all connected to that ego nature. And it's kind of hard to explain, but, you know, ego has duality, and if we gear it towards the higher self, it becomes divine will. If we gear it towards the lower self, it becomes a whole other thing. And of course, it's going to draw in demons and entities. It's no different than the physical body and how a cancer happens, or how a disease happens.
Yes.
The aura splits and has leaks in it, and entities come in, energies come in, bacteria, viruses, germs, and it's a strengthening process for the physical body when that happens. But it's also a war where the immune system is up against, you know, a force that wants to take it over. A disease wants to take it over. The disease does not care about the immune system. It's there to undermine it. And the immune system does not want any foreign invaders. So when we're thinking of our ego nature, if it's out of whack and we're into control, we're into power, or we're into the negation of self, we invite these things in. And it's our immune system that connects to our thymus gland, that connects to our heart chakra and our spiritual nature, that increases the vibration to the point that it heals us. Mm-hmm. And it's not medicine that does it, it's energy. And so the same thing's happening on the planet. If we want these entities gone, we have to create an environment that doesn't allow them to thrive, because that's what happens in our physical body. When we take care of ourselves, you know, most things that we catch, you know, is usually to make us, you know, we understand this to make us stronger, and we heal really quick, or we don't really take on any ailments. Mm-hmm. So excuse me, for people to not get so overwhelmed by all this information, they just simply need to understand that we're just like Gaia, our physical body.
Yep.
The same laws apply when we attract germs, entities, controlling people, and challenges. And so this planet, as on a collective conscious level, the imbalance has really drawn in this experience, and it's in our hands to completely transform it. And we know that.
We are the cells of the planet. You know, a larger version, or a macro version, is our body, and a macro beyond that is the planet, and then a macro version is the universe. So I really think that, you know, we are inside God, and God is inside us. It's just, I forgot what I was going to say. Where did it go? You always trigger it, though, so it always comes back. Oh yeah, it's incredible with the Illuminati or the reptiles, and how it really is just fear and insecurity, like a little kid, you know, that is so afraid that it's lost in its illusions and exaggerations. The bully in school, I constantly see that, or the Wizard of Oz. That how he's just a frail, insecure man behind the curtain, right? And just really what's happened is they don't know love. There's a lack of love. I think about the ghost of Christmas past, and I think that's really what the Illuminati is, like the Scrooge. And if you could take them on a journey to see their soul, their true form, they are pure love. They are just love, and they went on this journey that distorted and twisted, you know, who they really are. It's like little kids on Halloween dressed up in these very macabre costumes. Laura, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, your camera is going funny, so, but I don't know if you can see it. I'll have to show you. But anyway, just these little kids on Halloween that are dressed up in these very disturbing costumes, and they go to these doors of, say, religious families, and they're like, demon be gone, right? And they get lost to this identity, thinking maybe this is who we really are, and they forget that they're just these little innocent, sweet kids, dressed up in these costumes. So that's how I always look at the Illuminati and these reptilians. I always look at it from a very gentle, loving, forgiving perspective, because I really think that we are playing these roles and we're lost to them. And if you're only told you're bad or stupid or whatever, that's the only idea you ever have. And then you create this, you live out this reality as a self-fulfilling prophecy, which can be changed once we realize, what, this is a dream, and I know I'm dreaming in this dream, and life is the same, and so taking our power back yet again.
Right, and let's hope that they do, because, I'm the same way. I'm not here to keep on the duality and create this, them, and then it's all about integration, bringing them sort of back to source, because ultimately everything is from source.
That's right, that's what I'm getting at. They're pure.
Yeah, and so the demiurge, the lower creator god, sort of that thing that split off and created sort of the physical world, became the architect for the physical world, sort of created this whole matrix. And in a sense, the Old Testament and religion, certain aspects of religion created this, there's nobody above me, I am the only God. And that was the demiurge talking, that it didn't want to acknowledge its mother. It didn't want to acknowledge its origins. It was afraid to be connecting of that because it needed to feel identity, which is what ego is. It doesn't want to identify with higher self because it's too transparent. It's too in the oneness. And in that oneness, that's not enough. The demiurge wanted to feel important. And so when people feel that they're so wrapped up in their identity that they forget their higher self, it's the exact same thing. And we inherit that sort of energy as much as we inherit the blueprint of the primordial parents that are in harmony together and want nothing more than the collective to be in oneness, which is harmony of diversity. It's the diversity that's in harmony. It's not about us all being the same or transparent. It's about all of us, like the web of life, being able to work together. So the demiurge lives in a delusion. It doesn't realize it can have just as much of a unique role without having to create new world order and dominance and this kind of scenario. And so to heal it, like we both agree, it needs to be healed within the self. Mm-hmm. And it is just very scared. It just and it's such a huge part of our nature. There's nothing in the greater picture that doesn't somehow have a print in the smaller picture. Some of us are, not a part of the lower structure, but it's available, and it's what getting off track is all about, and what when people lose their way, that's what happened to the demiurge, and that's why Sophia morphed into the physical planet, because the archonic system came about before the planet Earth was formed. And so when the creator energy saw this, morphed into the physical planet and enlivened it and animated it with the Mother Earth energy. So it's really an organism. We're far more connected to Gaia than we can possibly imagine. It's a divine, multidimensional cosmic being, and our connection to her is what's going to lead us home, and this other structure is going to fall away as long as we do not buy into it. But see, Gaia will always remain, but it's just the inevitability is that we'll all return home. But how much longer do we want to go through this cycle is the next question. The problem is these agendas, use numerology, they use the occult, and what they're trying to do is, like the pyramid on the dollar bill, is trying to close that last bit of light so that there's eternal enslavement. And see, that should invoke fear in their eyes. But for some reason, that's not working either. So many of us are not afraid. It's like, I laugh at it's just like, are you kidding me?
It's power versus force. They're coming through force, and force never ever wins when it comes to power. And so they can act like they're tough and they've got all these plans and timelines and whatever magic they want. But when it comes down to the light team and God that's involved, it's nothing compared to, what they're trying with who we really are and what's going to happen. They can try it to stop it all they want. That's like stopping a giant tidal wave of awakening and consciousness and love pouring over the planet. My guides explained it to me very, very simple. They just said, Jess, do you think somebody who plays a villain in a movie is bad in real life? I said, no. And they said, so why would you think someone who plays a villain in your movie is bad on the soul level? That we're just playing these roles again. They're playing these roles, and I think a part of them knows that, what's going to happen with them as well, that they will shift and awaken to it too.
Yeah, definitely.
And return to God as well.
You know, they use the same sort of lingo that, you know, a bully would use. You know, I'm going to, you know, kill your, you know, it's just, it's bullying, and it puts a person in fear. And, I mean, I do understand, after really studying, you know, the type of rituals and, you know, particularly the Nazis and the vril power and using the dark matter of the goddess energy.
Vril.
That's why, you know, it's her that they use. And they manipulate, of course, the grid lines and the vortexes, and they use PowerPoint days based on astrology to harness power, to harness our power and our creativity as they're using her power. And that's why reclaiming it and simply saying no busts them, because the theater that's out on the world stage, all these false flags, and the government and their sort of acting role, which is about as Hollywood as you can get,
yes,
you know, hides all that. And so we don't realize that underneath that curtain is something truly, you know, disturbing. But that's why exposing the truth is important, but not exposing it for us to get lost in the information, exposing it long enough to just remind people to take it back. That's not theirs, it's everybody's. And, you know, in a sense, I mean, they are lost children. I mean, the creator mother energy, you know, just really sees them as a lost child who's, you know, just running around creating all sorts of problems, and just saying, you know, even the war between Cain and Abel, Set and Osiris, and, you know, the two male energies, and also Enki and Enlil, you know, it's always, well, is Enki going to get the power back because Enlil's in the power now and created the whole Illuminati and the concept of behavior modification, and Enki's much more supportive of the feminine, but it's like, you know, whether these brothers and their dualities and their wars even matter is who's their mother. She's the one who counts, you know, and she's just kind of looking at them like, you boys can do what you will, but like ultimately it's about returning to source. And of course it's not just about the mother, it's about the father too. But, you know, the cosmic mother is the great womb. So it's all very...
It's as ridiculous as my fingers all fighting and saying, Jess likes me more, no, Jess likes me more. I'm like, don't be silly, I love all you guys the same. How can I choose one finger or one hand over the other? They're all pieces of me, you know? And, I mean, it's just...
it's like, can you guys just get along? It's like, because they come from the same source, we're all the children of source. And it's just like, we're all made of the same thing. It doesn't matter what color, what race, anything. We're all made of the fact that that's our primordial origins. We all carry that spark. And it's just like ridiculous. It's like we're a big family that just is so dysfunctional and can't get along. And as soon as we recognize each other as a family, let's start to appreciate the fact that we are an incredible gift to each other. And so when we do that, it's going to catch on. It'll become an epidemic. And then the dark forces, instead of casting them out and saying, how dare you, because you've done this to us, they're going to be embraced with open arms. I mean, the thing is, the reason that they're not off the map is because none of us light workers are creating assassin programs to off them. We're trying to heal this through love, forgiveness, and acceptance.
Because it will just manifest again in another form. You can't kill it off. You can't kill off cancer cells. You have to know how to heal it.
You have to heal it at a root level.
The more you kill it, the more it just keeps coming back, right? Because you didn't deal with it properly. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
Exactly.
So.
I mean, it's funny. I mean, everything has to be dealt with on a root level for it to really be healed. And killing anything doesn't solve it. Neither does throwing some sort of drug on it to alleviate the pain.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I totally agree. Okay, Laura, I'm going to ask you something that's steer the conversation a little bit now. Are you familiar with David Icke sharing that the moon is not our actual moon, but, say, an artificial satellite?
I mean, that makes sense to me, but, you know, at the same time, I mean, I kind of, you know, did a lot of research on sort of, you know, Malduk and Mars and how this was over here and this was over there and you know, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me as far as the moon goes, but my original thought was that the moon was the moon as the goddess Selene, Diana, or whatever, just the moon energy,
right.
And it really got attacked by a lot of entities, and, you know, it just is sort of like it's got colonies there, and it's like there's an infestation. And so, you know, the fact that we're not connecting to the feminine and our lunar nature and our intuition has sort of really made the moon a lower vibration. It makes women, when they're connecting with it in their menstrual cycle or just connecting to their intuition, I mean, they get really emotional, really just out of sorts. I mean, it's not always a positive thing with PMS and birthing children, and we're breaking through that mold. I mean, the thing is, we're changing the lunar energy by simply recognizing what the lunar energy is about, and that it's within, it's the intuition and this and that, and then we can raise to a higher octave. Neptune and Uranus are higher octaves of the moon, and so I encourage people, when they're dealing with their feminine time, or when men are trying to connect with their feminine energy, to kind of